Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here in our studios in downtown Lansing, and we're going to run right now down to the Ann Arbor area, spend a little time with, one of our favorite folks, Carla Bailo. She's the president and CEO of the Center for Automotive Research. And Carla, welcome to the show. It's always good to see you.
Thanks so much. Great to be here.
Well, so usually when I introduce you, I feel like I should go, Carla, what's new? And then not speak again for 6 minutes, because you always have so much new news coming out of the the mobility industry, right?
Exactly.
But what I'd like to do first is get to this chip situation. We have cars sitting in parking lots waiting on chips to be sold. Mm-hmm. So give us the lowdown. What do you know, and why are we in this circumstance?
Well, it's kind of been this full gamut of things that have caused this shortage, starting with the shutdown last spring, which basically stopped the pipeline and stopped the orders coming in to the plants, because you want to stop burning cash as soon as you can. So fundamentally, that started it, compounded with this big increase in home electronics, laptops, cell phones, tablets, you name it, to educate kids at home, to work at home. So the whole supply began to shift. Then further compounding it now is the fast ramp up in the automotive industry, plus everything's getting smart. Everything's getting a chip. Your dishwasher, your refrigerator, you name it, it needs a chip. So it's all these compounding factors that have caused now this shortage. And fundamentally, it takes 21 to 30 weeks from the time you order to be able to get those semiconductors into the facility for build. So, what the automakers have done is they've tried to adapt their manufacturing schedules. They've tried to talk to every potential source to be able to be supplied with chips. They've started to change the specifications of some of the products so that they can continue building. And the absolute last resort is to build and then store away, because that creates a host of other quality issues that you really don't want to have to deal with down the pike. But it's going to be throughout this calendar year, if not longer, because it takes time to build more capacity and more manufacturing facilities.
Well, and I know we're not at the mercy of a semi-adversarial supplier, but we are at the mercy of a foreign supplier. And I'm wondering, do you know of anything being done? I had a quick meeting the other day with the new head of the SBA, and I said, are we incentivizing somehow American manufacturers to start making those chips here?
Well, I think we'll see what comes out of Biden's 100-day study for this issue and for other issues that are critical materials and critical supplies for not only our manufacturing base, but our defense base. So once we have that study and see those recommendations, there may be, right now incentives are done kind of on a state-by-state basis. It's not done federally. So, but if it's determined to be a critical supply, for our defensive units or for our manufacturing capabilities, we're going to have to, perhaps consider that kind of a federal policy.
Yeah. All right. So now I can sit back and go, Carla, what else is new in your world of mobility?
Well, the one thing that's really interesting is throughout the pandemic, we saw ride-sharing services, public transit, everything basically shut down. And now we're seeing people out, now the vaccines are available and people are free to get out. We're starting to see the ride sharing services come back, public transit come back. Still, many people are, buying new cars or buying used cars. But fundamentally, with the prices going so high, we're beginning to price a lot of people out. The other thing that we saw during the pandemic was a huge increase in EVs and electrified vehicles in general. And this is not going to end. The options now are there, the price is right. And as you know, the Biden administration is also strongly pushing for more electrification, more policies to encourage electrification.
Carla, Ford came out with an electric truck. Who would have ever expected that? So,
well, It's high time, I think. We've seen a lot of specialty vehicles or small vehicles that have been electrified. We need to see electrified vehicles that fit into the lives of the everyday person, because that's how people are going to be convinced that, yeah, I can use this and it'll be fine. Yeah. So you've got that truck coming. Mach-E is, a performance vehicle. So again, it's showing these vehicles are real. They have the capacity, they have the power. And I think we're going to continue to see more and more of that. We're going to see a lot more hybrids too. Toyota's launched a couple new vehicles that are solely hybrid. So you're going to see a lot of different options so that people can feel comfortable in the electrified world.
Closing on the chip issue, with all the trucks and cars that are waiting on the chips, do you think we'll get to a point of catching up? Because right now the prices are being driven by big demand, poor supply. I mean, dealerships are crying for inventory.
Yeah. We're down to, in some cases, 33 days supply, 40 days supply, and normally you want to be minimum 60 days supply. So that's half. And if you go by any dealership, it's a sad story sitting there. But fundamentally, maybe in the last quarter of this year, we'll start to see some catch up, but fundamentally we think there'll be, several 100,000 lost units this year until, we can get more manufacturing capacity.
Wow. Well, if anybody can fix that, Carla, it's you. So that'll give you something to do this afternoon, right? All right.
Absolutely.
Carla Bailo, head of CAR, Center for Automotive Research. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for the great work you're doing.
Thank you so much.
I'm Chris Holman on the Michigan Business Network. You've been watching the Michigan Business Beat, and we will be back with more.